you sent me earlier that I read about that couple that went there for it was 3 days in Annecy or whatever. She said that Lake Annecy, which that's not what this is. This is like, what did you say, Bourget?
Bourget.
Bourget, kind of like the airport by Paris. Anyway, that Lake Annecy is the cleanest lake in Europe.
Yeah.
I think we're coming up on a boat with some people fishing maybe, huh?
Yeah.
And now there's other boats out there, I see. Oh, and now we're in the tunnel. When you can't go by or around, you go through, right?
That's
There we
right.
go.
Hey guys, we just arrived in the city of Annecy. You can actually see the train stations back over there behind us. And so we just got off the train.
Take a better picture, but then that van was backing up, blocking the thing, and so we discovered that there's a triathlon.
Yeah, there's like a triathlon going on this weekend. Just sitting down the bag. There we go.
And we saw some kids get off the train that had bicycles, and assuming that that's their deal, they're here for that.
Could be. Anyway, we're walking to the hotel. It's not very far away. It's like literally a block and a half, so we can see it already. We'll check in with you guys later. So we made it to our hotel here, Hotels Des Alpes in Annecy. So yeah, we just got in our hotel room, put a few things away. Julie's taking care of following up on something that we need to do online, but we're connected to the Wi-Fi. Got stuff put away. We're probably going to go out and about in a little bit. It's a nice room. It's not super huge, but I think it suits our needs for a couple days. We have a little window view out over the kind of a little square here. There's another hotel across the way. We're literally 3 minutes at most walk from the train station, but we're off kind of our window faces off kind of a side street, so I don't think we're going to get a lot of noise. Decent size bathroom and just a walk-in shower. It's not huge, but big enough. No tub, but that's all right. We're just here a couple nights. And yeah, so we're probably going to do a couple things here in the room and then head out and about and see the town. Right?
Yes.
What's your first impressions of the town?
Wow, it's going to be really pretty.
Yeah.
I mean, it's warm here, but there's a lot of these pretty water walkways, right? Canals.
Yeah, we just walked up a little canal.
We're not very far from the hotel. And the water's very cold. It's like Idaho, you can see the bottom.
A lot of these little plazas that are...
There's a monocle over there, huh?
Yeah, there's a big church having a big église. Do you see it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what do you call those things? Segway.
Segway, yeah. Cool.
Oh yeah. You haven't checked this?
Look at the door.
Did you look at the area here?
So, by the way, did you see that gal that got on the thing last night when we going, we took I'm over to dinner. She had on basically a man's colored white shirt.
Oh no, I guess I didn't. I missed that one. Look up here. Wow, look at the. Wow, that's just an incredible view. It looks at the bottom must have.
Look at that sweet little spot.
Yeah.
Down there.
So it's super clear to the bottom, but then it's kind of greenish down there. So the
Well, it's shallow.
surface down there must be a
Like algae, kind of.
yeah. You want to check the list over here? They had some Brasserie Georges items there.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
That smells stinky cheese.
Yeah. Right? Wow. My thought is, let's head
Go
this
this
way.
way.
It's toward
Go
the
toward the
lake, and then we can come back through this way. So we've actually reached the lake itself. So there's a little stream that runs through, actually maybe a couple little inlets that run through town, and then head out to the lake here. And so now we're just at the mouth of the lake, and Julia's just pointed out that there's a swan there that's going to pose for us. Hi, swan.
You think you got
Hi.
anything for me?
But you can see it's just a really gorgeous lake. There's homes on the other side. I can see, do you see that building with a,
Yeah, that
with
flag.
a flag or
I wonder if that's
whatever
that-
on it?
I wonder if that's that hotel we looked at. You
Yeah.
know, that we saw that poster for.
Yeah, could be. But yeah, the mountains on the
Shallow.
other side. Yeah, well, it's shallow right here. I imagine as you go further out, it deepens. We actually just walked by. I think we're gonna take a boat trip tomorrow afternoon. There's one that goes out and around the lake for about an hour and a half.
I was looking for them quickly, but I don't know.
Oh, you can run a pedal boat. Looks like.
Oh yeah.
It's a busy place. This town is buzzing. I know there's there's a price difference tomorrow, but there's I didn't see I think it's just
General tourist destination because of the lake.
super busy space that we're at. We're right near the confluence of the opening of the
River where the canal, whatever meets the river, it meets the lake.
But no, so far it seems like a pretty good town. We've got a lot to explore still. We did talk to the folks at the boat tour place, and I think we're going to do a tour tomorrow afternoon. And we're going to walk up by the lake. So, yeah.
Look at all the flowers and stuff.
Oh, way back there? I don't know. Yeah. So we haven't been through this part of town yet.
No.
There's the boars to provide. What did you get for your main?
Oh, the weird funny thing is that we come to a Belgian restaurant.
What?
I said the funny thing is we come to a Belgian restaurant and I get a Caesar salad.
How is it?
It's beautiful.
Yeah,
so I'm happy about that.
Yeah, and I got a pave de rumsteak with sauce poivre, pepper sauce, and frites, and I think we're good to go. This looks good. Yeah, we're happy, right?
Very. Here's sit down and enjoy some coffee, right?
Yeah. So here's the deal, guys. Julie and I have this problem. It's a serious thing, and I don't know if there's anybody who we can go to or talk to. There's no like doctors or specialists in this thing, but we just went to try and go eat in a place that was recommended for breakfast, and of course we walked over to the door, and I can take a photo, but I can zoom in on that. You probably get
exceptional, basically.
Well, they're closed for vacation, and we can't go there, and this is not
into that all the time.
This is not the first time that happened. It's like every time we want to go someplace, for sure, we find some kind of complication with it. So, you want to take a quick look and see what's on the menu here, or coffee, or you want to move on?
Yeah, no, I think we should just go back to that other place.
All right, we'll do that.
Oh, this is nice, but...
Yeah. You want to take a look at their cart? They have avocado toast and some other things. Anyway, I guess the point is that we have this problem with things being closed, and you'll see it's a recurring theme. This is my point, Julie and I. So our backup plan after we went to that first place was to go,
little bakery here.
Yeah, because when we first came out of the hotel, there was a little place there, but we skipped it because we had gotten a recommendation on a breakfast place. So that place, as it turned out, was closed. Now we are. We went to a little place on the corner here, and we went up to the corner. Everything looked great. And when we went to, Julie mentioned something about coffee, and the gal behind the counter said, no coffee today. We have everything. We have hot chocolate, and I'm like, okay, so that's strike two so far. So we're going to do a little bit more looking. We'll find something, right? So we finally did get our coffee. We found a place, an American place from Seattle. You guys probably know the name of it. If not, just behind us. Anyway, we found a mall, so we grabbed a bottle of water. We're off for our adventures of the day, which are
Well, we don't know yet. Maybe up to the castle, and then we do want to do a boat ride. So, and wander.
Yep. So yeah, we're this kind of a, I'd say relatively new mall, wouldn't you?
A what?
Relatively new mall.
Yeah, probably.
So
They have a big grocery store.
And it's air conditioned, which is nice today because today's I think the hotter of the.
Is it?
Yesterday was hot. Today I think it's supposed to be 91, so it's even warmer. I think yesterday was 89. Not that there's much difference, but anyway, we're going to go wander off to the village. We'll tune you back in as soon as we have some interesting results, right?
Yep.
So it appears there's some kind of craft fair going on today.
Yeah, it does. Oh wow, look at the statues. It's really cool statue.
Yeah. Oh, it's okay. So we're walking up to the kind of overlook from the chateau and Musée d'Annecy. So we hiked up a little road, and now we're up high, and it feels really good because we're in the shade, and it was a warm, uncovered walk. But you can see that we've got a great view from up here of the village down below, and also the lake and the mountains behind the lake. And behind me is the museum, which we're going to go tour in a minute. And the chateau is over here. And there's the lake. We're actually going to go out there on a boat trip a little later this afternoon. There's a 1.5 hour boat trip that's going to take us out and around down the bottom of the lake and back.
Yeah, we did.
And
the castle.
Castle and museum, we made it just in time for actually an earlier boat than we originally
The
planned on.
3:15. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, we didn't know we were going to do the 3:15 or before or whatever.
Yeah. So
That would have happened. We're done.
So the boat's about to take off. We'll just do some shots around. Still pretty hot out. Did we get it?
Well, we have it. You can see right there.
Oh, that's the one you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look at my fingers there.
Et borne à gauche avec un B comme bâbord. Un portail d'eau à droite, l'emplacement où les châtelains autrefois stationnaient leur embarcation. Classé à l'inventaire des monuments historiques.
now having our dîner for today. And we stopped at a...
I thought this was a snack.
What?
I said I thought this was a snack.
It is a snack. Well, it's
You said dîner, and I said I thought this was a snack.
Okay, yeah, it's a snack. I'm sorry, I erred.
I'm kidding.
So we ordered 3 things. This is by the way, the name of the place is Le Surf Volant. It's kind of a tapas bar. They have a variety of beers and tapas. And so we ordered 3 different things. One is a roasted goat cheese, which Julie has
with
on her
honey.
toast right now with honey.
So it's kind of sweet, actually.
One is a pork. A pork what?
Yeah.
Shredded or whatever. And then one is a fritter with peas and chèvre, and all of this stuff is good. Julie got a glass of wine. I got a New England IPA. And, we're going to go ahead and munch this stuff. We are in a super picturesque setting. We're right along one of the little canals here in Annecy. And yeah, we're going to munch. It's interesting. We're seeing a lot of the party that was sitting next to us before was here for a triathlon that's actually taking place tomorrow.
I think so. They kept talking about their heart rates and this and that. So
and I think the people who just sat down behind us may also be. The gal has a helmet strapped to her backpack, so that might be an indication as well. So anyway, that's where we are right now. Still enjoying Annecy, and so we went out for
a late night beer.
Little late night beverage. You had beer.
Beer, and you had a Negroni.
Yep.
And we had a fries.
Yep.
Yeah, Belgian fries. Yeah.
And then Julie talked me into
yeah, right.
having what I'm having here is actually I don't know if you can see it.
Gelato.
There we go. It's gelato, and
what flavor?
They had a place called
Glace des Alpes.
Glace des Alpes.
Glace des Alpes.
And it is supposed to be the best gelato around, and so I had to try it.
Did you have?
I tried 2 flavors. I tried chocolate, and I tried framboise, which is raspberry. And so I'll have to say they are pretty good.
Yeah, both flavors were very, very strong and intense, but that's typically how gelato rolls, right?
Yep. So
I think we better get on the second
yeah, I think so too. So anyway, it's our last evening here in Annecy. Tomorrow at some point or other, I think we've got one thing that we're going to do here, and then we catch a train in the afternoon back to Lyon and then back to Paris. But I'd say all in all, Annecy was definitely a cool place to come.
Very much so. Yeah, it's 11:20. This is the first time, literally, in almost our whole month here that we've hardly been out at this time at night.
Well, when it's been dark, at least.
It's been dark, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And that's simply because it's been light so late this time of year.
Right.
I mean, in Paris in particular, it's light until at least 10 p.m.
And we're old and we don't stay out.
Yeah, I mean, the sunset in Paris is really like at 9:50 something usually, and then it doesn't really get truly dark until after that. So sometime between 10 and 11.
So yeah, we went back to the hotel, rested, and then I talked him into going out.
Anyway, so last night here, we've got a few things we'll cover tomorrow, but other than that, we'll be headed back in Paris tomorrow night.
petite jus de betterave.
Did you find anything interesting?
Well, I'm gonna, I think for 10 euros, I want to try a pair of these flowy pants.
Yeah.
Because I've never had any, and so it might be a good time to try them. I'm just trying to figure out which pattern and color. It's like crap.
This one.
No, même pas.
Hey guys, so it's now a few days later.
Cheers.
Cheers, and we're wrapping up the trip. Well, actually, the trip is wrapped up already, but we're making a video after we got home. We didn't really capture the last little part of the trip or the return trip on video. Our return journey was a little bit of an odyssey, a little bit of a challenge. It was super.
Welcome to France.
Yeah. First of all, it was super hot that day. When we got to the train station in Annecy, so basically our return route was going to be kind of the reverse of what we did on the way over. We were going to go Annecy back to Lyon, catch a metro, essentially, a regional train from the train station in Lyon out to the airport, which is where the TGV goes. And
Well,
then,
this particular TJ.
that particular local, yeah, it's
Because we were on the cheap seats,
yeah, we were.
meaning that lower cost.
Well, there's a carrier called Ouigo, which is kind of the, if you will, it's a discount carrier for the rail system over there, and so they typically over here. So the trains typically leave from peripheral stations, so they don't leave the main station. So that's how they keep the cost down.
Kind of like the airlines.
A lot of other things. You print your own ticket. There's all kinds of a la carte fees for extra baggage, for choosing your seat, etc. Anyway, we were going to go out to the airport to catch the train back and then return to the Disneyland station, which is also the reason we were at the Disneyland station and not in central Paris is the same thing. It's a low-cost carrier, so they use stations that are less frequently used. In any case, we got to the Annecy train station. We were expecting to catch our train back to Lyon, and when we got
wasn't
there,
it like 5 something?
yeah, something like that. And we got there, and the first thing that went awry was the on the departure board, the train that we were planning on taking said supprimé, which essentially is deleted.
I'm like, that's not good.
Yeah, and so I went to the ticket window, and they said, well, actually, instead, you just need to catch this one train that was headed for, I don't even remember its final destination, but we needed to get off in a city called Aix-les-Bains, which
we went through on the way
through
town.
Yeah, but we didn't need to get off.
No, no, it was just a pass through.
Yeah, so we had to transfer there and then catch another train from Aix-les-Bains to Lyon. They said it was going to be about the same amount of time, so and I think there was like a 7-minute layover between trains. So we waited. The station was super hot. It was super chaotic. So we didn't really dig out the camera to do any video.
We didn't want to do the misery. We didn't want to record the misery.
So we took that train. It actually didn't turn out to be too bad. We got where we were going on time. We just had to walk across the platform to get to the other train. Got on that one. I think it was relatively straightforward. Actually, it started out kind of odd because the train backed into another city kind of slowly, and then remember we sat there for a while before we started.
Because we were wondering. I never like to really go backwards on a train, sitting backwards, but we thought that was going to be.
But Yeah.
We
Anyway,
thought we were going the right direction,
Yeah.
at least for me sitting. But
it took a different route back to Lyon, but we got to Lyon about the same time we would originally have. When we got off at the station there, it was super hot, super chaotic. Again, this was one of the days where the temperature was around 100
easy. Yeah.
102 or so Fahrenheit. So it was pretty busy, pretty chaotic. We got some water, caught the shuttle train that goes out to the airport, rode it out. When we got to the airport, kind of hung there for a little bit, waiting for our train back to Paris, and went down to the platform. Got a notification that this was kind of weird. I got an email notification that the door of the carriage where
Our particular
carriage where the seats we had, that the door wasn't working, so we would need to board the train. Our carriage was number 13, and I think we were supposed to board either. It said use the doors
12,
either in 12 or 14, which didn't seem like the end of the world. So we finally, when the train finally arrived, we did get on, I think, carriage 14 or 15.
Right. Walked back to our car.
And then the reality of the
as soon as the doors opened, the reality was such that it was a sauna.
It was
I
hot
was
as
like,
hell.
oh,
So
no.
not only was the door not working, but the AC wasn't working. And again, it's one of the hottest days of the year in France so far.
It was horrendous. There was no way we could sit for 2 hours, I think was their train ride. On that, I'm like,
So we sat down for a moment, and then I immediately got up and started to go look to see if there was other seats or what the options were. Around that same time that I started to walk back toward another coach, two of the train staff were walking by. So I asked one of them, I started saying, is it okay if we look for another? And he immediately responded, yes, saying something about, you're going to be refunded or whatever. But it was clear that coach was not habitable. So I found a seat, I think, in the next coach.
I said, why don't you go and see if you could find something, and then because we didn't know how full that train was. We really didn't know anything, and if we were going to have success at all. So anyway.
Yeah. So we found seats on the lower level. I found kind of a single seat on one side.
I was directly across.
Yeah, Julie was across the aisle from me, and so.
And it was okay. The gal that was sitting there was young. It was actually the side I was sitting on was actually an accessible sort of situation. I don't know if you paid extra for that.
They're a little bit larger seats and facing each other.
Yeah, but she had her feet up on literally my edge of the seat almost the whole way. I was just like, okay. I mean, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, didn't raise a stink.
Yeah. Anyway, we made it back.
Her feet didn't stink either.
Yeah. We made it back to the Disneyland stop. Got off there. Immediately transferred to the regional train. It's called the RER here, and to get back from Disneyland into Central Paris. Of course, that train was completely overloaded because of all the people getting off of the train from Lyon. I think all caught that same RER
Well, actually, it was a Sunday evening, end of a long weekend, and
a lot of people returning from
travel.
Disneyland as well.
Yeah.
And so,
just lots of people were traveling through that station because it's.
Yeah, but I mean, and at the end of everything, we made it home. We had all our stuff with us.
Yeah.
We weren't.
We did
all
find
that worse
seats on that
wear.
train as well.
Yeah. So
again, it was super crowded, and if we would have waited one or two more stations after where we got on, we would have had to stand the whole way.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we were lucky.
But at the end of the day, it was everything worked out. We made it home safely.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but all in all, I think it was a good weekend. I mean, if we were to sum it up, it was 5 days, Wednesday through Sunday, 4 nights, 2 nights in Lyon, 2 nights in Annecy. Would you go back and do either of those cities again? Or
I think they were both great.
I
I mean, the problem is that there's so many cool other cities here as well that, I mean, I don't feel like we got gypped. I felt like we saw a lot, and but I wouldn't be sad to ever go back. But I do think there's other places that we want to consider as well. But definitely they're worth it. Annecy was actually pretty dang cool because it was more villagey, older like, and so that's definitely a bucket list
Yeah.
almost item.
Yeah, and
for sure.
I'd say we spent about the right amount of time in both places. Lyon, definitely there are more things probably to do in the city. I feel for a first real trip, and I say a first real trip, years ago, and I mean like 25 years ago, we were actually there
Which
for
we
a
don't
day
even probably
trip.
remember much.
But you know, for getting introduced to the main sites and going through the areas, I think we got a good feel for that. They're
Yep.
probably, you know, it's in one of those layers of the onion kind of places where you can probably
Yep.
do more. But for a first trip, I think it was a good amount of time there. For Annecy, I feel it's probably the same way.
Yep. I
there
mean, if
were-
we had another day, it wouldn't have been horrible.
No.
I guess the thing with that is that had we planned the trip differently, and this was sort of a kind of a situation where we ended up going to Lyon because we had previous tickets, right?
Yes.
So anyway, if we were to like plan it from scratch, we would probably do Lyon, Annecy, and then didn't you say Geneva?
Yeah, Geneva's close by.
Because we weren't very far from Geneva, like maybe half an hour.
Maybe an hour at most.
Yeah, so and that's another lake region, Geneva. So, and that's part of it's on Swiss. Is part of it Swiss or the whole thing is in Switzerland?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
although Switzerland, we've from past experiences is pretty pricey, but it might have been worth the day.
It's gorgeous.
You know,
It would have been worth it.
It would have definitely been worth it. So anyway, that's a whole different.
Yeah, but I think all in all, the other thing is, honestly, I think would also make a good base for exploring the region. So, in addition to the things that are in Annecy itself,
There's some
there
peripheral
are
things that would be
definitely
worth doing,
things
yeah.
nearby.
Yeah.
We took the boat trip there. That was great. I really am glad that we did that.
Yes.
There are some little villages and things along the lake that also I think would probably be good getaways if you wanted to just spend some water time.
Oh yeah, and you can I think you can actually take the bus maybe around
Yeah.
and like go to some of those places, but you would need, you know, a few hours of a day or so to do that. But yeah. But the other thing about Lake Annecy, I mean, I'm from northern Idaho and I'm used to clear water, which the water was clear. But this water, didn't we look it up and it's like the average temperature of the water is over 70 degrees because it's so shallow.
In the summer, but in the winter it's
Yeah.
really cold. So it seems like the temperature can change radically
But
between
I ain't
seasons.
going swimming in the winter in the lake.
No,
So
that's
anyway, but yeah, it was a weird kind of a light blue color, which I think you could see from some of the photos that we took. That a weird kind of funny blue. But anyway, I should have known from that color that it wasn't a deep dark blue, meaning it would have been cold water.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
never ended up sticking my toe in the water, which it just never happened. But if it was over 70 degrees, that's almost bath water, and to me that's not swimming.
But
So.
plenty of people did stick their toes.
Oh,
in
yeah,
there.
there were a lot of people.
Well, there was. My point was that there was a triathlon that was going on.
Oh, you're right. That's they had to go in the water, but the cool thing was that you could actually remember you could rent a boat down there by the water,
Yeah.
and they were cool little paddle
They were
boats,
little- they
but
were-
they also had a little slide on it.
Yeah.
So basically, we were meant to rent and go out.
It was like a little
couple hours.
two-seater paddle boat
Yeah.
that had a short slide on it, so you
A
could
little
actually
mini
go up
slide to go in the water.
yeah, 2 or 3 steps and then slide into the water.
That looked cool. But anyway, so if you
So-
had a kid or whatever, it would be good water.
Yeah.
Okay.
But all in all,
and all the
yeah.
the pictures, all of the what are those called? The para things? Those flight
hang gliding.
Hang gliding. Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
At that
While we were
far
in the
end of the lake.
Yeah.
I think there's some pictures and some video a little bit of how so many hang gliders. That was awesome and cool
Yeah.
to see because I've never seen that many hang gliders. So
Yeah.
anyway. Yes.
Anyway, all in all, it was a good weekend, good trip, and we're hoping to do more of these kind of things.
Yep, that's
we
why
know
we
it's
came.
been a really long time since we've done a video. Our life's been a little chaotic. While we've
Busy.
been
We're
moving,
trying to figure
but
out what
we're
kind of
gonna-
remodeling stuff we want to do. Trying to get lined up with all that happening. We're going to have to end up moving out probably for 3 months. So there's definitely a lot more to come.
But more to
that.
come about that in kind of an update in a
Yes.
different video. But again, we're hoping to do more of these as we travel around the area.
Yep.
And
Anyway,
hey,
cheers from Paris.
cheers from Paris.
Woo-hoo.